And welcome to the house. I am Nick. This is Jack. This is Connor. You are you, and that's awesome. We're so glad you're here. It's our weekly NFL football, as you would be guessing probably by the name NFL, weekly pick'em show. And we are very excited to have you joining us this week. And now week 4 of NFL action. Things are really starting to heat up now. I think I said that last week too. They're even hotter now. To make things even better, we're going to go over our records really quick. And as you can see down here, we are all 32 wins, 16 losses, and the tie we don't count. It's just 1. So we're all 32, 16, and 1. A 3-way tie through 3 weeks. And you're wondering, how's that possible? That's an odd number of games. There's been 16 games each week. What's going on here? Well, if you recall in week 2, we talked about our new feature called Double Dip, which means double down, which means if you pick a game and you win that game, you get 2 wins. But if that game is a loss, you get 2 losses. So we all won that game, meaning we all got an extra win, meaning instead of 31 wins, we all have 32 wins. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. I'm stumbling over my words a bit today.
Makes enough sense.
Week 3.
Makes sense to me.
Week 3 standings, the winner was Jack O'Brien, getting back into winning shape after a struggling start to the season. He went 10-5-1. Second place was myself with 8-7-1. Connor Lawrence goes 7-8-1, loses first place in the process. Now we're all tied. It's a new week. We're starting fresh in week 4.
You know, I went away to the Finger Lakes for a couple weeks. I was on vacation. I let the kids play around with the house, do what they want with it. But now I'm back, and it's pretty obvious whose house it is, whose house it was, and continues to be.
And we are going to get right into it now. Thursday Night Football, Broncos and Jets. Oh, no. I'm going to go with the Broncos.
Yeah, Broncos.
Oh, brother, a tough one here. These Thursday nights really kill us. I'm going to go with the Broncos. I don't even know what based upon. The Jets just don't look that great, but I'm going to go with the Broncos.
And the Washington football team continuing their matchups with the AFC North this week. They'll play the Baltimore Ravens. Coming off a very unimpressive performance against the Chiefs, Lamar Jackson still hasn't beaten them in regular season, if memory serves me right. I saw funny jokes saying he plays like he's in the playoffs when he plays against the Chiefs. It's kind of funny. I love Lamar Jackson, though. I hope he can turn things around. Regardless, though, I'm going with the Ravens in this one.
Big week from the Ravens. I'm going to go with them as well.
They are a 2-touchdown favorite. This isn't a hard one, folks. The what? Baltimore Ravens.
Steelers and Titans. Today is Tuesday, meaning that's as current as our information is. It's Tuesday night, about 10:30. As far as we know, the Titans aren't doing anything. Vrabel said if we have a walkthrough Saturday and play Sunday, that'll be it. Connor informed me, because I haven't been able to read anything in the last couple hours here, they've even talked about playing maybe Tuesday night of next week. Regardless, we're going to pick the game. Whatever happens, happens. I'm rolling with the Steelers in this one.
Go Steelers.
This is really a make or break for both teams, I think. I'm going to go with the Steelers in this one, but I think Mike Vrabel and his team, if they can win this one, it's really going to define their season. But I'm going to go with the Steelers.
And I know we're trying to do the express version of To the House. You got to talk about the Steelers, crashing the line. They held Saquon to, 6 yards week 1. Great at getting pressure on the quarterback. The secondary's been a problem. Here's a great chance again with Derrick Henry, a very different styled runner than Saquon, where he just plows through you, whereas Saquon's the more athletic-y, spinny kind of guy. I think it's a great test, even without maybe a week of practice to get him prepared for the game. It's going to be a great test for the Steelers defense.
We'll see if they can contain him.
Absolutely. Moving on, Chargers and Bucks. Wild couple weeks for the Chargers, obviously, with the team doctor injuring Tyrod Taylor. I don't think that changes the fact that no matter who's under center, for them, the Buccaneers are going to win this game.
Got to be the Bucks this week. I think Herbert's been pretty impressive, as I mentioned last time, but I think the Buccaneers win.
I try to be the wild card here and pick against the grain, but I can't justify this one. Buccaneers.
And another very difficult matchup, the Seahawks and Dolphins battling out of Miami, baby. It's going to be a big win for the Seahawks, I'm thinking.
It's Seattle all the way in this one.
There's no stopping Russell Wilson this season. Got to be the Seahawks.
Vikings and Texans in the battle of the winless? ? What?
That's hard to believe after last season.
It is. It's very hard to believe. And I don't know who I want to take in this one because I don't know if my heart they've been very odd. Both teams. Cousins looked like he forgot how to play football week 2. They scored, 30 points this week, so they were kind of back in the groove. The Texans looked like they were going to give the Steelers a run for their money.
They did.
And, I mean, they did. It was only a one-score game,
really
but it was all said and done. And because of that, I'm going to give the Texans a very narrow victory in this one.
It's going to be a slight edge to the Texans for me as well. I think Deshaun Watson may have a pretty good week. But it's going to be interesting to see what a player like Dalvin Cook can do with this terrible Minnesota Vikings team, as you mentioned, with Kirk Cousins. But I'm going to go with the Texans.
Well, said it last pick. I'm going to do it this pick. I'm going to take the Purple People Eaters, the Minnesota Vikings.
I respect that.
That's respectable.
I always say I respect that when someone picks opposite me, but we're so full of respect
This
here
one's
at Stranded
respectable.
Sports. We're going to go on to the Saints and Lions. The Saints losers of 2 in a row after beating Brady and the Bucks and everyone going crazy about the result of that game. Regardless, I'm going with the Saints. Get back on track in this game.
Got to be ride or die, man. I'm going with the Saints. Not 2 very awful weeks, let's put it that way, from Drew Brees and company. Alvin Kamara has been a very shining point in this offense. I'm going to go with the Saints.
No, and he had one of the most casual 56-yard touchdowns I've ever seen. I'm going to say, who dat nation?
That's it.
Unbelievable. If you listen to the podcast, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, we're going to move on to the Browns and Cowboys. Browns look like a football team against the football team. That's a good spot to do it. Cowboys, no one in that division has a winning record. Yikes. Regardless, I keep saying regardless too. I'm not sure how I feel about this one, and I always start off, so I'm going to be persuaded by one of you two when you make your decision.
I do, because Brownies, I'm calling on you again. Do it. Prove this team's a bunch of frauds. I got faith in you, and I don't have much faith in you, but when I do, it's a little bit, just enough to validate your existence.
It's another make or break week for these two teams right here. I'm going to go with the Cowboys in this one, however.
Some of the deciding factor. I'm going to ride with the man that is the defending champion. I'm going to ride with Jack O'Brien and say the Dallas Cowboys in this one. And that moves us to the Jaguars and Bengals. Jags a terrible loss to the Dolphins. Bengals a tie. A tie? A tie.
That's a win in their book
with the
against
Eagles. I get it, but it's
Eagles
the fact
in
that it's a
there,
tie. Doesn't change the fact this week, Joe Burrow, win number 1, baby.
You're high on pot news. I'm going to take the Jags because I just really don't think this Bengals team is worth a damn.
Can the Jags bounce back after last week's loss against Miami?
That's what we're asking.
I think they do.
See, here we go.
There we go. There's our answer.
Joe still got to wait a little bit longer to get that win.
Colts and Bears. Who we got in this one, boys?
Oh, Bears are going to get exposed in this one. Colts.
Foles back in, right?
He's
Or
back in, but
He
I
is.
I don't
BDN
know.
back in, baby.
So
BDN.
that makes it a little more interesting.
I think the Colts are going to be able to handle this Bears team. They've had some very fluky moments in this 3-0 start. I'm giving this one to the Colts.
One of the more questionable teams that are 3-0 so far this season. However, I'm going to go with the Bears at home.
Oh, does that mean I'm the
You're
decider?
4-0. You're the deciding factor again.
Who did you pick? The Bears?
You should have been listening.
He picked the Bears. You picked the Colts, which means
I picked the Bears. He picked the Colts.
You shouldn't have told him that.
Reversed it.
doesn't matter, Colts. And now, after that awkward exchange, it's time once again for our gambling expert, Ethan Morrison, to give you some tips on how you can win money. Ethan!
All right, week 4. Went 1-3 again last week. So hoping to switch it around, maybe go 500 this week. A lot of disappointing games for me last week, but let's see what we got. We got 3 games again this week. First game is the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Tennessee Titans. Pittsburgh is favored by 2. And I am taking the Steelers this week. The COVID-19 has struck the Titans. They're the first team to deal with the pandemic during the season. So because of that, they won't be able to practice till Saturday. I don't know how the game's going to shape out, if they're going to play Sunday, if they're going to play later. But the Steelers, they look good in the second half. Hopefully they can carry that in. So I got the Steelers, -2 at Tennessee. Next game is the Cleveland Browns at the Dallas Cowboys. I got the Cowboys here at -4. Dak Prescott played very well against the Seattle Seahawks, throwing for over 470 yards. The key for Dallas in this game is to stop Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, as that's pretty much all they got on the offensive side of the ball. I don't really think Baker Mayfield really has played well at all this season. So I got the Cowboys winning this game and covering the spread at -4. Then my third game is the Atlanta Falcons at Green Bay Packers. Green Bay is favored by 7.5. Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers has played outstanding this season after a lot of questions, after drafting Jordan Love and all of that. Atlanta's blown two double-digit leads the past 2 weeks. Atlanta won't even have a lead this week, as the Packers will easily cover this spread at 7.5. They will easily win this game, and Aaron Rodgers will torch the Atlanta defense all of Monday night. Thank you. Hopefully I go 500 this week, and hopefully I can win you some money.
And thank you for that, Ethan. I haven't taken any of his bets yet, but after a rough week last week, it might be time for me to start. What's something we can put on a T-shirt? Other than bet with Ethan, because that's a basic thing to say.
I like that, though.
We're going to figure that out. We're going to figure that out. Make a graphic of that. And he can just be like, my mouth's wide open, too. It's a really sarcastic looking smile. Cardinals and Panthers. Cardinals, tough loss.
Very tough loss.
Panthers without McCaffrey still. They won, though, I believe, last week. I'm going to go with the Cardinals here, though. Big bounce-back week for Kyler Murray and the squad.
They still looked impressive last week, despite losing by just a field goal. I'm going to roll with the Cardinals again.
See, I'm going to go with the Cardinals, too. I hate to make it across the board, but I just don't think Carolina has the legs.
These are the games he wins, too.
Basically, usually.
The games where Jack's like, I'm just going to do this one so I don't have to follow the crowd. He always wins those ones. Giants and Rams. Rams. What?
The New York Football Giants are dead. Rams.
Hey, the Rams gave the Bills a run for their money last week. I picked them. They ended up losing just slightly, even though they had the lead. I'm going to go with the Rams in this one against the Giants in a blowout.
Bills and the Raiders. Big game coming up. The Bills, whether you agree with the call or not, defeated the Rams, last week. If they defeated the Raiders last week, that would make this week's game a little weird, considering they're not in the same division. We got the Raiders, who fell to the Patriots, I believe, last week. So a big matchup here. I think the Bills continue their good start, not whole. Don't know where the word whole came from. You see that? He's circling the wagons. I'm going to circle the wagons, too. I got Bills.
The wagons are
I got Bills.
Buffalo Bills, baby. This
Josh
team's
Allen has been
hot.
phenomenal this season. They're playing hot ball, going with the Bills.
And that will move us on to the Patriots and Chiefs, a rematch of the AFC Championship from just a few years ago, except a couple parts might be missing from that game. Just maybe. I'm going to go with the Chiefs here, but it's going to be closer than you might think a Tom Brady-less Patriots team would go. I don't remember how I started that sentence. It's been a long day.
This defense has been ravaged by people opting out due to COVID-19. Brand new quarterback under the helm. But I got a feeling the Pats are going to come out of this one. I don't know what it is. I just got a feeling.
Woo, that tonight's going to be a good night.
This is a really tough one. Mahomes, really great outing on Monday against the Ravens. I'm going to go with them at home. This is my game of the week.
I forgot we were doing that. This is my game of the week, too. I actually
It's pretty
meant to say
obvious.
that.
This is a
It's
pretty
my game
big
of the week, too. I like this one. Eagles and 49ers is not my game of the week, however. I'm going to go with the depleted 49ers team because, the whole PA battle, Eagles-Steelers thing, I just got to roll with the Steelers, and I don't want the Eagles to win.
I'll take the third-string Niners over this shit Eagles squad any day.
I think the key is going to be the run game, and I'm going to go with the 49ers in that sense.
I like it. That brings us Monday Night Football.
Brings us to Jack's game of the week, actually.
Whoa!
Green Bay's going to win in a landslide.
Well, it's the Packers-Falcons, in case you were wondering at home.
Green Bay's going to win in a landslide, but if that doesn't happen, maybe the Falcons actually have some validity as a football team in the NFL. But until I see it, you guys don't exist.
Dan Quinn, people want him fired. They've blown multiple huge leads late in games. I don't think there's much courage left in this Atlanta team. That might have been the wrong word. Much will to move on. But that might have been even worse. Regardless, though, I'm going with the Packers. They upheld their part of the parlay last weekend. The Jaguars did, and the Steelers did. but I got to thank the Packers for that. They tried. Packers win this one.
I really like that pick. I'm going to go with them as well. Packers at home in Lambeau Field.
And that brings us to our fantasy players to watch. Jack, who are we keeping an eye on this week?
Well, as you can see, I definitely didn't just check who I picked
He was texting.
off of screen.
I don't know
I
who
was
he was looking
texting
at.
your mother.
I felt like a teacher yelling at a student when they're like not paying attention, just calling on you first there, but that wasn't my intent, and I apologize.
My fantasy player to watch this week is Kyler Murray. The guy has been absolutely on fire since the start of the season. He's proven himself as a prominent pick, a prominent prospect, not even a starter in this league. I think he's going to have a big game against the Panthers.
I'm going to go with Cooper Kupp against the Giants. A little bit of an oddball pick for me, but I think I've got a big game coming out of him, I think.
I really like that pick too. But I'm going to go with Alvin Kamara. I think he's been very great. In absence of Michael Thomas, I think the Saints roll this week, and I think it's a big week for him.
And it might be a big week for you, too, with the To The House sweepstakes, where one of you will go to the Bahamas. Just kidding, that's not happening. For Jack and Connor, I'm Nick, and Ethan as well. He's here now. New guy Ethan, we love him. He's a trooper, man, let me tell you. This has been To The House. We'll see you next week. Take care of yourselves.